Before we get started, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications whenever we share a video. iOS 13.5 was officially released earlier this week, and we actually went hands-on with the new update that offers a few new features, including the introduction of the exposure notification API created by Apple and Google, which is designed to allow public health authorities to create COVID-19 contact tracing apps with the aim of slowing the spread of the virus. Apple also made tweaks to help Face ID unlock while wearing a mask, group FaceTime, and more. You can check out all the things that we highlighted in a full video that we just released yesterday by clicking the card in the upper right-hand corner. We also had a few AirPods related videos that we put out earlier this week that include hands-on with the new Comply memory foam tips for your AirPods Pro, as well as a comparison between the new Surface earbuds and AirPods. Links to those videos can also be found in that card too. While we're on the topic of AirPods, there have been some new updates to Apple's plans for new AirPod products, including the confirmation of production for the new over-ear AirPods, tentatively called AirPod Studio. Rumors have suggested a summer or fall launch for AirPod Studio, with a report earlier this week claiming that suppliers in Vietnam will begin shipments to Apple in June or July. But a new report from DigiTimes indicates that production on the new headphones is already underway and a launch could be coming in the relatively near future. There have also been some rumors that suggest Apple could plan to extend its lineup even more by offering an in-ear AirPods X, which would have a similar Beats X-like design for running and exercise. This would be followed by refreshes to both regular AirPods and AirPods Pro in 2021. So the lineup, in theory, could be regular AirPods, AirPods Pro, AirPods X, and AirPods Studio. Which, the more Apple adopts these Beats-style products into its own lineup, the more I just become curious that we're kind of coming to the end of Beats as we know it, or at least as a standalone brand in general. But of course, would love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. One quick fun fact story that's very loosely related to AirPods. Apparently HTC, a company I really wish would make a phone like its HTC M7 again, because I loved that phone, is apparently making headphones that look identical to AirPods, except they are black. Aside from the charging pins being on the front and that new color, there's really not a whole lot different that's going on here. Thought it was worth mentioning. Moving on to iPhone 12, but before we get into the new rumors about the phone, there have been reports that Apple is actually planning to stop including its wired earbuds inside of the box. It appears this decision would be made as a means of driving demand for the company's popular wireless AirPods, which are sold separately, according to Ming-Chi Kuo. Apple has included earbuds with the iPhone ever since the first model of that smartphone launching back in 2007, in large part because the iPhone was pitched as a natural extension of the iPod, a music player that could also make phone calls. Would be kind of a bummer to see these go, but let's be honest, most of us just leave them in the box or throw them in a drawer. Maybe I'm just the only one. It's not like I ever really carry the dongle around with me to use them anyways, but the microphone on the wired earbuds are still so good for phone calls. Alright, so back to the iPhone 12, we have some new leaks regarding the new iPhone, including a leaked image of the device's logic board. The board doesn't really provide us with many visual clues as to what it might look like, but one notable aspect is that it has a more elongated design as opposed to the more compact boards seen in recent higher-end iPhone models. Fine print indicates that the board was manufactured in the 40th week of 2019, aka the first week of October, and it also looks as if the iPhone 12 camera modules will be shared between 3 different suppliers. LG will produce the cameras for the 2 higher-end iPhone 12 models, with Sharp and O-Film grabbing orders for the remaining 2 lower-end devices. Last week, we spoke a little bit about the rumors surrounding Apple Glass, which is the company's rumored augmented reality glasses that are said to be in production, and this week we learned that they will launch in 2021 with small volume production expected to start in the first half of the year, according to DigiTimes. This goes in line with what we heard last week, that Apple could have them ready for consumers possibly next year, but it depends on when Apple can introduce the product. It's believed that the company would really like for people to be in attendance when they show off this new product, and so it really depends on what happens this fall or next spring with those guidelines. Finally, some quick little headlines for you. And for those of you who might not know, the Joe Rogan Experience podcast sold for what I assume was a boatload of money to Spotify to become an exclusive later this year to that platform. This sparked reports that Apple is also looking to compete with Spotify and buy exclusive original podcasts too. So be on the lookout for some potential news around new Apple exclusives. And for Mythic Quest fans, there's a new Quarantine episode now available on Apple TV Plus, which was actually shot using iPhones. The show's creator and star Rob McElhenney did an entire interview outlining how they pulled it all off, and it's super interesting to read, so go ahead and check the link for that in the description down below. And of course, I would love to know your thoughts on everything we just talked about, all of the news surrounding Apple this week, or if there's anything that you heard that's interesting that you might want to share, let us know in the comments down below. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.